Welcome back. All right, career of Duncan Keith. Duncan Keith, who the Oilers haven't confirmed that he's retired, but yeah, the word is out that he is retiring from the National Hockey League, and it really helps the Oilers out when it comes to the cap. It does not help the Chicago Blackhawks. So he was a number 54 pick in 2002. Doesn't make his debut in the NHL until 05-06. So he's given some time to learn the game. 81 games that year, 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points. But again, the Hawks, who had gone through this rebuild, it is getting a guy like Keith in the second round. I think that's a big part of how they became the dynasty they were. 06-07, 82 games played, 2 goals, 29 assists, 31 points. So the points come up, the goals drop. But again, pretty good overall season for Duncan Keith. In 07-08, he would play in the All-Star game for the first time in his career. He played 82 games that year, 12 goals, 20 assists, 32 points. So things are going well, right? He's in the All-Star game. Chicago's starting to make that climb. And in 2008-2009, that climb would include playoffs for Duncan Keith. 77 games played during the regular season. 8 goals, 36 assists, 44 points. In 17 playoff games, he adds 6 assists. He was 6th in Norris voting that year. So he's getting into the Norris discussion, and he would explode into those Norris discussions in 09-10. 82 games, 14 goals, 55 assists, 69 points in the playoffs. 22 games, 2 goals, 15 assists, 17 points. He's a first-team All-Star. He wins the Norris Trophy, and it's the first Stanley Cup won by the Hawks. And so, or at least first win in a long time for the Hawks. 2010-2011, his numbers stay pretty strong. 82 games, 7 goals, 38 assists, 45 points. Just the 7 playoff games as they got down 3-0 against Vancouver. Forced to Game 7, and overtime in that Game 7 almost did it. He had 4 goals and 2 assists in that series. He also played in the All-Star game that year. So if Chicago had completed that comeback against Vancouver, and Vancouver had choked away 3-0 series lead, Vancouver's history would be viewed quite differently than what it is. 2011-2012, 74 games played, 4 goals, 36 assists, 40 points. Just the 6 playoff games in that season, and 1 assist. Now, this is also where suspensions start to show up, and this is something with Duncan Keith that definitely happened. Plays on the edge, crosses that line a couple of times. He was suspended 5 games for an elbow on Daniel Sedin, which guaranteed he would be booed every single time he came to Vancouver for the rest of his career. So Duncan Keith, not a popular guy with Canuck fans after that elbow on Sedin. There was discussion, too, about whether or not that elbow on Sedin that injured him, took him out for a while, may have hurt the Canucks' chances in that first round against LA. Personally, I didn't think it would have mattered that much. LA was going to beat Vancouver, but it didn't help that Daniel Sedin was not 100% for that. So 2012-2013, a lockout-shortened season. He plays 47 games, 3 goals, 24 assists, 27 points. He plays 22 playoff games, 2 goals, 11 assists, 13 points. But he gets suspended again. He gets suspended 1 game for a slash against Jeff Carter. He slashed him in the face. So, kind of an ugly incident. Keep in mind, it's not that long. 1 season, it doesn't feel like it's that long for hockey fans. So it's not that long after the Daniel Sedin incident. So it doesn't help his overall standing with National Hockey League fans. 22 games though in those playoffs, 2 goals, 11 assists. He's 6th in Norris voting. They did win the Stanley Cup. And so, the overall picture still stays the same. Chicago at the top. 2013-2014, he plays 79 games, 6 goals, 55 assists, which is 6th overall in the NHL that year. 61 points. In the playoffs, 19 games, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points. He won the Norris Trophy that year, and he was a first-team All-Star. So that is his second of 2 Norris Trophies. 2014-2015, plays 80 games, 10 goals, 35 assists, 45 points. And in the playoffs, he was a machine that year. 2015 playoffs, Duncan Keith was fantastic. 23 games, 3 goals, 18 assists, 21 points. He wins the Conn Smythe, wins the Stanley Cup, and he played in the All-Star game that year. So overall, very, very solid numbers for Kane. He's at his peak at this point. 2015-16, plays 67 games, would have played more, but he got suspended 6 games. 5 games at the end of the season and the first game of the playoffs for a slash to the face on Charlie Coyle. And there was discussion at the time about whether or not that was enough and if it should have been more, because those 5 games weren't seen as important for Chicago, and you're giving him a rest in just the 1 game in the playoffs. But He had 9 goals, 34 assists, 43 points, played 6 playoff games, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. So Chicago doesn't go far in the playoffs. And again, with Keith now having gone through another suspension, his popularity continues to drop with some fans. 2016-2017, plays 80 games, 6 goals, 47 assists, 53 points. Plays 4 playoff games as Nashville shockingly sweeps them in the first round. He just had the 1 assist. He ends up on the second All-Star team. He's 4th in Norris voting, and he played in the All-Star game. And that's where the All-Star accolades kind of drop off. 2017-2018, we started to see Keith's play drop off from that Norris level to just being a very good top 2 defenseman. Plays 82 games, 2 goals, 30 assists, 32 points. 2018-2019, 82 games played, 6 goals, 34 assists, 40 points. So nice bounce back for him in 2018-2019, but again, Chicago, no playoffs for them. 2019-2020, plays 61 games in the season that was paused and shortened. 3 goals, 24 assists for 27 points that year. I caught it. 3 and 27 does not equal 27. So my maths are off. I need Scott Steiner. They make the playoffs because the NHL expanded the playoffs that year to more than 16 teams, and Chicago pulls off an upset over the Edmonton Oilers. So he ends up playing 9 playoff games, had 5 assists that year, and it felt like, hey, maybe Chicago's not that bad off. Maybe they can build on it. 2020, 2021, he only played 54 games that year, 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points. Chicago does not get back in the playoffs that year. And on July 12th, the unthinkable that season, he is traded with Tim Soderlund for a 2022 third and Caleb Jones. Now, the fact that Edmonton doesn't get Chicago to retain any of the salary throws everybody off. And there's a lot of discussions about what did Ken Holland do? Why would you take on this cap hit for 2 more years? It's an expensive cap hit. What are you thinking? And in reality, Duncan Keith is credited with helping Evan Bouchard get better this year. Played with him a lot. Bouchard's play got better during the season. So he did mentor their defenseman there. 64 games, 1 goal, 20 assists, 21 points for him. So the offensive side of the game really fell off for him the last couple of years, but still a useful defensive defenseman and a lot to teach that Edmonton blue line. In the playoffs, Edmonton does go on a run. They end up in the Final Four. 16 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points for Duncan Keith. Again, being counted on to play that leadership role. He ends up retiring with 1,256 games played, which is 90th overall all-time, 106 goals, 540 assists, 646 points. In the playoffs, 151 games played, 19 goals, 72 assists for 91 points. In 2017, he was named to the 100 greatest players in the history of the league. 2010 and 2014, he won gold at the Olympics for Team Canada. And in 2008 at the World Championships, he won silver. The cap recapture for Chicago this coming season is $5,538,462. For the following season, it's $1,938,456. It is a cap recapture in the same vein as Vancouver's been dealing with Roberto Luongo. It is those long-term contracts that the NHL was bound and determined to punish retroactively. And of course, hockey fans are not generally happy with cap recapture, but I get why it's there. It was there because there were some GMs that were using extremely long contracts to bring down the cap hit for that contract, knowing darn tootin' well that towards the end of the contract, the guy might be retired, might be gone. And so it was seen as a way to artificially get around the cap. That's why Keith's contract has a recapture penalty. I've heard discussions about whether or not the Oilers are going to get a credit or anything. Honestly, with the Oilers trading out both Cassian and getting Duncan Keith to retire, it frees up a lot of cap space for the Edmonton Oilers and should help them this coming season. But they may miss Duncan Keith's leadership on that blue line. So, there you go. Probably should have played his entire career in Chicago. Then I just could have put the Blackhawks logo here instead of all of these and then the one Oilers. But it happens, right? So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And if anybody's asking opinion on it, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. The Conn Smythe, the 2 Norris trophies, named NHL's 100 greatest players, 2 Olympic golds. He is going to be a Hall of Famer with those 3 cup rings. So that being said, we're still a few years away from that happening. But all the best to him in retirement. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I saw somebody say this morning, you need to take a vacation. I don't do vacations. Even when we go on vacation, I'm still making videos. So here I am. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.